Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Jason,
I'm Andy.
and we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Where every single Friday, after the latest covers and variants and series have been announced, we do this show. We show them off, we tell you what these comics are about, and help you decide which ones you want to subscribe to, which ones you want to order. If you order them by Sunday, they are all open order, meaning there's no way you're going to miss out.
Mhm.
That's why it's Comics from the Future.
Yes.
I'm happy to report it is a very full week.
It's a very big show all around.
Yep, very, very solid week. We have a lot of really good number ones to talk about, but we have an even bigger announcement before that. So, for a long time, and we've been doing this show for some years, and people have messaged us over and over again saying, "Hey, where can I get comics?" And some of you, bless you, do get comics through us, but our systems have been old. You've been doing it through email, you've been doing it through text. We're good communicators, but we have not had a website that has been up to snuff until now. So here it is. We have launched our website at infinityflux.net, where you can sign up for an account and you can subscribe to comics. You can get individual covers, issues, and you can manage your own pull box there.
Yeah, even while you watch this video,
Yes.
you can follow along. You can go on there and you can say that cover looks cool and click and order it.
So let me show you.
Yep.
So here's our new website. It's infinityflux.net. That is the site that take you right there. You can click towards the bottom, set up an account. See, there's create account button. Then you can go to your comic subscriptions where you see the latest comics. You can search for them. You can click last call. And these are the comics that we'll be talking about this week. That's where you will find them,
Mhm.
like not literally these ones. If you click one, you can pre-order cover, you can pre-order a variant, or can subscribe to the entire series. So we've made it easy as possible. We're one of the very early comic shops that uses this site. So please, as you watch the video, if you don't already have a wonderful local store, we would love to be that. And we've made it really easy now.
Yes. Very exciting. And so it feels like everything we talk about today has a little extra oomph to it.
Yeah, that we
You know,
can
you can,
deliver it to you
yeah, we can
easy.
deliver these things that we're talking about. But on top of that, it is a big show because Marvel and DC both have a bunch of number ones. It's like finally, this is our first kind of big week of the year.
Yeah, yeah. After a lot of weeks where one or the other didn't have
Yep.
anything. Okay, so let's begin with our featured comics. These are the ones, the number ones and such that we think people will care the most about. Starting with,
Superman #1. I mean, this is a big one. I've been very excited about this. I really liked Action Comics 1001 that just came out, but this is that was kind of this dawn of DC start, but so is this. This one is one they're really like. This is going to set the stage for everything. So, Superman #1, written by Joshua Williamson, and the art is by Jamal Campbell, who did this cover right here. Amazing artist. I got to sample a bit of this issue, and it is so cool. I already love Superman. I think he's like one of the most important things in comics. You know, that's where comics come from, the superhero comics. But in this, Superman is back in Metropolis after all of his War World stuff and everything, kind of back to the status quo. But Lex Luthor is in jail. So, like, what could go wrong? Superman, it's the greatest day in Metropolis. Well, Lex Luthor, even though he's in jail, has left a gift for Superman, and it is called Supercore. He has left Superman his own company where people wear like Superman kind of uniforms, and it's supposed to help Superman out when there's danger. Of course, Superman doesn't necessarily. Immediately, he's like, "Okay, something's up with this," but it seems too good to be true. We'll have to see. But there's a lot of really fun surprises, especially there may be his own version of a Batcave, you know, with all the suits and everything. You'll have to read it to find out. This is an oversized issue too, so you know, great. We always say it's great when number ones are double sized or a little bit bigger, so you really get that story. There's going to be new villains and returning ones. We've got characters like what's her name, Livewire.
that's right.
We know coming up there's going to be a big Parasite story. So if you've kind of been on the fence about reading Superman books, they've been a little hard to get into before because it's such a long story. But I think this is going to be a fantastic jumping on point, or a good jumping on point for the entire. DC universe to
Yep,
come.
that's what that Dawn of DC label at the top
Yeah,
means. I mean, that is their whole new initiative for this year and the next coming years, I believe.
yeah. And one other little thing, you'll have to read it to find out, but Lex Luthor has done something that it's like one of those really backhanded gifts. He gives Superman something along with this super core that will get under Superman's skin. I can't wait to review this to talk about it because it is very funny. Yeah, it's great. But of course, this is a number one. I have the number one character from a company, so a lot of variants. This is our Jamal Campbell cover, 3G cover,
Jamal Campbell taking a break from the Nightwing variants to do some A covers.
and some interiors. I mean, you got Jamal Campbell on
That's right.
interiors, and you will not be disappointed. We've got an Andy Kubert variant. We've got an Ariel Colon variant. A lot of cool stuff with Lois Lane in this as well. We've got our Ibrahim Mustafa cover. We've got our Federici. It's really cool with him looking down. We have our Gabriel Rodriguez. We've got Ed Benez coming back to do some Superman. This one's cool. This is
Interesting.
this parasite running through here. This is the Lozano variant.
Those fingers have some weird things on the toe.
It's pretty gross. We have the Mattina.
Mattina doing his dark thing, but
Yeah,
with this
high
time with a bunch
contrast.
of blue lightning.
We have the Nick Dragotta variant. It's a very cool one. I love this one, the Jimenez cover. And lastly, we have the FIUMARA Phantom Zone foil variant.
So many covers, but it does make me proud that now that we have our website, once somebody signs up, if you saw one, you're like, I want this, I want to pre-order this. You can do it right
Right
now.
now.
And it would be guaranteed that you're going to get it because
Yep.
you're getting it in before us retailers place our order. That's what Comics from the Future is all about.
It's what it was always meant to be.
All
Yep.
right, so let's go to the Marvel now. So guess what? Cosmic Ghost Rider is getting a new miniseries. I'm really happy about
He's
this.
a great
This was a
character.
really popular character that of course was originally conceived by Donny Cates. This one is being handled by Stephanie Phillips though, who I mean, she's a writer I like quite a bit.
Hmm.
Her stuff with Grimm, check that
Very
stuff
good.
out. Yeah, the art is by Juan Cabal. And so in this is set after the first Cosmic Ghost Rider series. Frank Castle has retired from being Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's retired a while ago from that. He's just Frank Castle. And he's trying to live out his remaining days in a quiet corner of space, which is crazy to think. You know, he went to Nam, became the Punisher, became Ghost Rider, and now he's off on a planet trying to chill. But guess what? He hears tell that there is a new cosmic ghost rider that has appeared. He doesn't know who it is, and the person is really brutal. They're leaving like bodies in their wake. And so Frank Castle decides, guess what? Can't retire. I got to go find out who this person
No
is.
hero can retire.
This is too much. So that is the premise of the new 5-issue Cosmic Ghost Rider series. I guarantee I'll be reading it when it comes out. I'll be reviewing it on our Monday show. So that's one to sign up for, I bet, for many, many people. And we got a few covers here for it. Here is the Odd Knock Headshot variant.
I love this one because it actually looks like somebody's like knocked off his head, but it's still like floating through
And
space
laughing
and
at
laughing.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, fully cool. That it probably has like thrusters in its collar. It's going to fly back at you. So I think Todd Knock has become a little more selective. I think because I've noticed they were doing like every head, and
Yeah.
some of them were like downright like silly.
Yeah.
Now they're actually pretty cool. The
Yeah.
ones he's choosing. Here is the Smith Howard the Duck variant. Yes, Howard the Duck has had a variant series, finding him in some very strange places. Here's yet another strange place for him. And then Ryan Stegman. He was the artist on the
Yeah.
original Cosmic Ghost Rider series and is just an incredible artist in general. I think this variant's going to be very popular.
So next up we have our final piece of Lazarus Planet. This is Lazarus Planet Omega. So this is by your team that's been doing all the Lazarus stuff. This is Mark Wade and Jin Yang. Uh, but this is I love the cover too because it looks like everyone has accepted the rain.
They're
They
just
are all standing in the rain.
give me power, change my power.
Yeah,
Just
I can't fight it. So in this, it's the final fight up against the devil Neza. um, while Batman is slowly kind of fading away. He got pretty injured and has kind of been out of commission for most of this, and it's not looking good for him. Of course, he's not going anywhere, but we'll probably get changed quite a bit by this. So it's up to Zatanna and the other magical users teaming up with Damien to finally set everything right. Also, while this is going on, Dreamer, we saw in the Alpha issue, was recovered Dr. Fate's helmet. But there's something going on with it, something real weird that seems like it's going to set the stage for stuff to come in the future. So this it basically says as Lazarus Planet ends, the dawn of DC begins. So this is kind of your
Lead in
yeah,
to the
lead
whole Dawn of
into
DC thing.
everything coming up. Since this is the Omega issue, it's also got a bunch of cool covers.
While you've been talking, I've just been looking at all. I've been like, I want to know all the characters, name them all in my head.
Yep,
So I think that's is that Harley there blowing a bubble?
that would not surprise me.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think it
so.
is. So to start off with, we have the Ben Oliver cover. Or that was the Lee Garbett. This is the Ben Oliver cover with Batman with the helmet of fate on there.
And the Omega symbol.
Yes. We've got Ariel Colon, which is a pretty scary looking image with. Doesn't look like Batman's doing too well on it.
Yeah.
We have the Massafera cover.
Is that Aquaman?
That's Neza getting
Okay.
swept away
I,
in the.
I was like, man, Aquaman's really changed a lot.
We had this beautiful Jen Bartel cover with Dreamer.
Very nice.
And then this is the Edwin Galman Black History Month variant, and we now know is announced this week. There's a new Cyborg series. It's going to be coming out real soon. And we have this really cool Federici variant with that kind of demonic Batman.
Very creepy. All right, so Nightwing, where does it go after that awesome issue 100? If you read issue 100, Nightwing was offered something by the Justice League that was pretty major. Well, 101 is going to follow up on this. So it looks like Nightwing is putting together his own team that are going to be the premier team of the DC Universe. They're basically taking over for the Justice League.
Mm.
They're not an additional team, they are replacing the Justice League, but they're just going to be the Titans. That's right. Nightwing is reforming the Titans in issue 101. He kind of started that in issue 100.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to this, Jonathan Kent is still going to get mentored by Nightwing, which is interesting. You know, he's taking over the mentorship of him, but in a lot more of a nicer way than I think Batman would, or how Batman trained him originally. So a lot of cool stuff going on with Nightwing, and it was sort of announced that he was going to be sort of the central figure in the
Yep.
whole Dawn of the DC thing, and so him leading the premier team, you know, it's a really big deal.
Yeah, we have a Titan series that's just announced coming up in a few months, and I feel like this is like if you want to read that, read this to see how does that form and how does he put all the teammates together and all
And
that.
Nightwing's such a popular series. You know, when series lose too much readership, they restart them,
Uh-huh.
as happens so often in comics. We're at issue 101 and no end in sight.
No
I mean,
insight.
this might end up becoming the longest running Nightwing series ever. So I call it here. So here is the Travis Moore card variant. And then we also have, of course, Jamal Campbell's
Yeah.
variants. Just
Still got enough time for Nightwing.
looks so good.
Yeah. Okay, next up is a big one. This is Hallows Eve, #1, the new breakout character from Amazing Spider-Man and the Dark Web stuff. Hallows Eve, who was formerly the partner of Ben Riley. She got transformed into this new character, and they wasted no time giving her her own miniseries. So we just start to see kind of what her powers can be in this last few issues of Dark Web and Amazing Spider-Man and Venom. But she essentially has this bag and has all these masks in it. When she puts on the mask, she takes on some kind of power and persona. So I'm very excited to see. It's going to always be interesting what she pulls out and how she uses it. But in this, it sounds like the police are after her, but somebody else is after her also. Probably something a little bit more in the superhero community. Um, but I think this is going to be they're really putting a lot behind this character, and I definitely don't think this is the last you'll see of her. Almost get the feeling of like the Cosmic Ghost Rider, that character. You may see some Hallows Eve pop up miniseries one after another. So this is going to be by Erica Schultz, and the art is by Michael Dowling. And we've got a bunch of cool variants for this. So this is our A cover. We have our this is the Alan Stormbreaker variant with all those masks.
I like that a
You know,
lot.
some of the masks, like one of them is Cap Wolf, and you've
I'm
got
seeing
some
that.
maybe
You're
some
right.
familiar.
Capel. That's great.
So I'm wondering, you know, she's got like the Frankenstein mask, the Dracula mask. Does she have something that's like? Does she have a Spider-Man mask? Does she have, you know, some kind of twisted version of different Avengers characters that she
You
can
think
transform
you see
into?
Storm in there?
Maybe Storm, maybe kind of Dormammu or Jack-o'-lantern or something up there. There's
That's really
Hobgoblin
cool.
in the corner.
And this is going to be a great character for Marvel to keep revisiting every Halloween.
Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna have like a Halloween one shot every year now.
Yeah.
Then we have our beautiful Art Germ variant. We have our Rose Besh
Rose
cover. We haven't
Bash.
seen Rose Besh in a little while since she kind of wrapped up things with Dynamite, but it looks
Yeah.
like she's back at Marvel now. We have our Alex Ross uh, special variant with Green Goblin on there.
I like how you can see the eyes
Nice through the
through the
lenses.
lens. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have this awesome Stephanie Hines variant.
Very cool. Okay, so next up, this is Shazam Fury of the Gods. This is going to be a one shot that is written by the actors from the film.
Mhm.
Kid you not. So Zachary Levi's writing this. A bunch of the actors from the film are writing a bunch of one shot stories that they're doing in honor for the movie, which is coming out in March, if
Mm.
I'm not mistaken. This is not the A cover. So the A cover is a Jim Lee cover that is not ready in time. So they force us retailers, we have to place our orders by Sunday night for DC
Mhm.
books. And so they're supposed to have them ready by Friday at noon, which is why we do our show later
Mhm.
on Fridays. But occasionally they can't keep up the pace.
Usually it's Jim Lee.
Who
He gets a
is running
pass.
DC, and yeah, I would never criticize the man Jim Lee, but I am just letting you guys know that that's why the A cover's not there. So if you want it, you will have to order it sight unseen. You know we'll be getting some. I mean, it's
Mhm.
Jim Lee, but this is the B cover. What is this? This is by Mayo Sen Nato
Mm.
is the artist who did this B cover. And so there's going to be one-shot stories in this. It's going to be oversized. It's going to be 9.99. In some of the stories, they're going to be befriending dinosaurs. In others, they're going to be in like a barbarian world, trying to get their cell phones to work. You know, I mean, it's the Shazam family. There's always some action, some tragedy, but also some humor.
Mhm.
The C cover. This is by Logan Farber. And then finally, we have this photo variant. So I don't know if every one of these actors wrote in this, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of them are in this, and definitely the main dude
Should have called
is.
this like the Writers variant. You got
Yeah.
all the writers on the cover.
So now we get to see they can act, but can they write?
Next up is a new series from Image. I'm very excited about this. The more I read about it, I already liked some of the covers, but wait till you hear about this. So this is called Local Man. This is by the team of Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks. So you have Tim Seeley, who is a writer, but also has been an artist,
Absolutely.
hack
Yeah.
slash and all of that. And then Tony Fleeks, who is a writer of like Stray Dogs, but also does art, doing this book that's actually going to be a flip book. So in this, we've got a character named Jack Xavier, who was known as the superhero Cross Jack, and everyone loved him. He was a media darling when he was a member of the superhero team Third Gen. But after some kind of controversy, he has to come crawling back home to his hometown to move back into his parents' basement. But when he moves there, uh, suddenly people start turning up dead in the town. It seems like maybe something has followed him there. Now, what's cool about this is you've got the one side of the issue that is going to be by Tony Fleeks, that is the kind of what you see here. the story about him going home and all this stuff going down. But the flip side of it is going to be by Tim Seeley, and it's going to be exploring. Uh, it's a superhero flashback, delving into the depths of the Image universe.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure. Are we going to see cameos by like Spawn or Savage Dragon or some of those classic characters? Because when you see some of these covers, you're going to see like very much inspired by Youngblood and that kind of thing. And it says the Image universe. So I don't know, but it sounds really cool where you're going to get kind of a what's kind of a more now Image comic. These very like thoughtful stories, and the other side you're going to get a bombastic classic superhero
I
tale.
wonder if it's going to insert his old team
I think so.
into the old Image
I bet it
universe.
will. That'll
Yeah.
be really cool. And you'll see a hint of that with some of these covers. So this is our A cover. Then we have this cover by Tim Seeley where it looks like, oh, that's
Rob Liefeld.
what his old image book looked like.
Hmm.
Then we have this one. This is it's going to be a foil cover, which I also believe is by Tim Seeley. And if you look, it's got kind of those like swirls, so I think it's going to be one of those kind of rainbow things, very much inspired by the '90s image boom.
When you first were talking about how there were two artists working on the book, I was like, maybe Seeley did all the art and Fleeks did just all
Oh,
the
the
dogs.
dogs!
But the dogs are a major component. And the one side is from the humans, and the other side is, but here's what the dog is seeing and thinking.
I wonder if
No,
Fleeks is
I like
like,
this better.
I wonder if Fleeks is like, I got to get away from the dogs. Everybody wants me.
I,
It's like Scotty Young and the babies. It's like I got to step back from that.
yeah. Don't want to be typecast too much. So next up from Marvel is a limited series. So I always try to do my research to find out how many issues or something. To me, I'm a collector. I want to know how many issues. I'm not sure. This one I delved into it. I cannot say. It is limited though. It's not just a one shot. It is called I Am Iron Man. They're doing this in honor of Iron Man's 60th anniversary. So the creative team on it, they're sort of newer to comics. Like I read the names and I was like, I don't recognize them. They had done just a little bit of stuff. So I think this is also them getting to cut their teeth, prove themselves over at Marvel. So you might be able to get some new work by some newer people before they get big, perhaps.
Yep.
So this is stories told throughout Tony Stark's years. They're going to be stories that are sort of untold during the most important timelines in Iron Man.
Mm,
So you're going to get some during like Armor Wars and
cool. I
time
like that.
periods like that. Yeah, so limited series, newish creative team set during major time periods for Tony Stark.
I like when you get that, and then you get all the different suits from those time periods too.
Yep. So that is what I Am Iron Man is about. This is the main cover, and then we have this variant. This is the Woods variant.
Next up is a new miniseries from Dark Horse set in the Star Wars High Republic. The Star Wars High Republic, The Nameless Terror. If you've been keeping up with all of the High Republic stuff, you know we've jumped back about 150 years from the first set of stories, and we're learning kind of how did things get to that point. Now, in that first part, we know that there is a beast out there called the Nameless, and it has the ability to basically suck the force and the life force out of a Jedi and basically turn them to stone. I have a feeling that that's what we're going to get in this is the origin of those, because so this is written by George Mann and the art is by Eduardo Mello and Ornella Severici, and uh, it's about a Jedi mission that goes to the planet Dalna. If you've been reading the books, Dalna is a big place. It's kind of where a lot of the antagonists are located, the Path of the Open Hand. And their trip goes from kind of a peaceful trip to one of horror. So I think this is going to be a pretty scary, maybe no survivors out of this one, but to further explore some of the elements that make up the High Republic. So I think this is really cool. I think Dalna, the planet, and a lot of the Path of the Open Hand, who are kind of, they think if you use the Force, then you're corrupting it somehow, and they want to stop all Jedi because they're using the Force. We've never seen their like planet in visual form, so this is going to be really cool. So this is going to be a 4-issue mini series and just the one cover.
I have to say, if I could use the Force and I was using it, I was flipping around, I was like deflecting
Mm,
laser blasts, and somebody's like, "Wait, wait, wait! You shouldn't do that. It's bad." Could be a problem. You know, it's like it's not like you're telling me not to do something that isn't super awesome and fun.
Yeah. Her whole thing is the balance of the force. So if you use it for good here, something bad's gonna happen over here because it always has to balance out. And the Jedi are like, that's not how it works. And
And it shouldn't be so fun and awesome.
yeah, don't make it so fun.
Okay, so next up is a one shot. See, always do my research. It's Spider-Man Unforgiven. Because if you read solicitations, they will never tell you over at Marvel, is it a one shot or is it a mini? Or occasionally they let slip something's a mini.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a one shot. This is also by Tim Seeley. Tim Seeley's writing this. The art is by what's his name? Sid Kotian does the art. And so this is a story of the Vampire Society, the Forgiven, thus the name
Oh,
Unforgiven.
okay.
Yeah, I think Tim Seeley was probably listening to Metallica when he thought of this and reading some some Spider-Man stories. So anyway, this Vampire Society called the Forgiven is going to come under attack by Salam. Salam is an ex-sorceress supreme. And so what's all this have to do with Spider-Man? Well, he gets caught in the middle. That's what it has to do with Spider-Man. So that is the general premise of Spider-Man Unforgiven. So if you're a Spider-Man completionist or you like those one-off tales where a writer like Tim Seeley gets to do whatever he kind
Mhm.
of wants with the story, you might want to pick this one up. So this is a regular cover. Here is the Klein Stormbreaker variant.
And usually I think, oh, if they're like this, they're gonna be in color later. But the way his pen work on this is like, this is probably gonna be a black and white, uh, very artistic
I
cover.
see what you mean. The color could really get in the way of
Yeah.
just yeah admiring the pen work. And then there is another Klein variant for it as well. So he was probably like, "Don't color my work. I'll do another one you can
Yeah.
color."
Okay, next up is a mini series I'm very excited about because I love these two characters, Rogue and Gambit. And we are getting a Rogue and Gambit #1. This is also by Stephanie Phillips. It's like we've got a ton of books today, but it's only like by 5 different people. This is by Stephanie Phillips and Carlos Gomez. And I've loved Carlos Gomez's art on Exterminators. A lot of fun, very over the top and action filled. That seems what this is going to be. So if you look at the cover in the background is Destiny. Now Rogue is the adopted daughter of Destiny, and as Krakoa is kind of on this precipice of like, is it gonna fall? Is it gonna rise? They're very like tremulous times right now. Uh, she keeps sending Rogue out on all these missions, and Gambit is like, "Hey, I want to be with my wife, and you're leaving me behind." So Gambit is now going to figure out a way to come on a mission with Rogue, and it even says add some Cajun spice to one of the missions. Uh, but he's determined to spend some time with Rogue, and the series, it says, is supposed to reveal some of Krakoa's biggest secrets. So I believe this is a mini series. I couldn't find it, but I believe it's like a 5 issue mini series. It's almost like how Exterminators was. But I'm very excited about this. Sounds really cool. And it seems like even if you haven't been following the main X-Men stuff, this is mostly going to be about Rogue and Gambit on a mission together. I can't wait to read about. So this is our A cover for that.
I like what they did with the title there too.
Yeah.
That's really nice looking. The last Rogan Gambit series was awesome, where they had to go to marriage counseling
Uh-huh.
under false pretense because the island was corrupt, and but
Yeah.
they had to go through the counseling too. That series was great.
Then we have the Aspinall Pulp variant. We have, of course, the Alex Ross Timeless variant with Rogue's other mother,
Yeah,
Mystique.
one of my favorite anti-hero.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right, she's an anti-hero.
Sometimes she's more right than anybody else.
Yeah,
Love this cover too. This is the Wernick Stormbreakers variant.
yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so next up is a new Spider-Gwen miniseries. So, 5 issue miniseries. It is Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones. This cover really says it all. It
It
doesn't still
really
say
does.
it, but the cover says it all. So, in this series, Gwen is going to go up against a lot of just very well-known Spider-Man villains. However, they are not the people you think they are. It is Gwen as the villains. So, Gwen Doc Ock, Gwen Vulture, Gwen Sandman. So, first of all those,
Yeah.
and with the Spider Verse being so huge, I know people are going to be looking for this down the road. So that is the premise of Spider Gwen Shadow clones. Who is making these clones of her as Spider Man villains? So we got a great Nakayama A cover
Hmm.
there. Then we have a Bengal variant,
You see some of the ones that like a Craven, Gwen, and very cool.
like that hair.
Yeah.
Here is the Casa Grande variant. This is the Women of Marvel variant for this. Then here is a Greg Land variant. It's like if you just look at her face, she's adorable, but then you see the
You're like, oh,
yeah,
red
yeah.
flag.
Here is the Via Stormbreaker variant.
That was really nice.
And these are great. These have a lot of good covers. And lastly, there is a pink blank variant.
Yep.
All right, so we told you it was a big week. That was our featured number ones. Okay, we break it up. So next we're doing our other number ones. You might care for these even more, but we decided the other ones were featured. I guess Andy did. He produces the show. So
Starting with, and it's because of things like this. So, uh, coming up, we will be doing a Comics from the Future talking about the new book, Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1. But a lot of the times, they have these special covers, and they've got to get their orders in a little earlier because there's something special about them, different materials and
this
everything.
has already been making news.
Yes, so this is Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1 Scratch Off variant.
Get your coins ready.
Get your coins ready. You could win big. So in the mirror, it is going to change what I believe it's Crazy Jane sees in the mirror. And revealed here, I don't know if it's exclusive, but revealed here, I can show you all the different things that you could get. So this is what it looks like before you scratch it off. Then we have the Black Anise version. We have the Sun Daddy. We have Chainsaw Nun, which Chainsaw Nun is going to be in it because I've previewed this issue and Chainsaw Nun is in it. If
She's
you
so
are familiar
naughty.
with Chainsaw Man, just imagine Chainsaw Man but a nun. We also have what's a big one is the Chief. This will be our character that's actually leading the Doom Patrol, and we have Shy. And we'll be going into more of the story when we actually cover this, but it sounds really cool. This is actually comes with the fallout from Lazarus Planet with all the new people who have powers. Doom Patrol is actually going to try and kind of round them up and kind of teach them how to use their powers. So a bunch of new characters in this. I imagine this is going to be a big cover
Yeah, so,
since you got to
so
get your order in
we
early.
know comics have had a lot of gimmick covers over the ages, some of which are better than others. I love like that glow in the dark Ghost Rider back from the 90s,
Yeah,
just so this is gonna come where you scratch it and it reveals one of these.
hmm
So there will be all of them available.
yeah,
It's just you don't know which one you have. It's really I've never heard of a scratch off cover. I'm not saying
hmm
this is the first. It's the first to my knowledge.
yeah.
So really interesting. I hope they can pull this off well.
Yeah, and if you're a collector, do you scratch it off? Do you gotta see what's under there, or do you leave
Is
it unscratched?
are the people at DC Publishing contacting lottery
You're like,
ticket
where'd you get
organizations?
that
Yeah,
material?
really, really crazy and interesting. Okay, so next up, we have Murder World Game Over. This is the last of those series of one shots that are set in Murder World with Arcade. This is the finale issue to all that. So here's the main cover, and then we have a Gonzalez
I
cover.
love this one because it kind of looks like Super Smash Brothers.
For sure.
Like
Yeah, absolutely.
that whole playing field and stuff is really cool. Gonzalez does great work.
Yep.
Next up is a new Draculina series from Dynamite. This is going to be written by Christopher Priest. He's had a big hand in a lot of the Dynamite verse stuff, but it's Vampirella's self-absorbed twin is back. This time, it seems like their mother Lilith is going to try and reunite the family, and that is probably not going to go too well. So, if you've wanted to jump on a new series from Dynamite, I think Draculina will be a fun one. The last one was really good. So we've got a couple of covers for this, just showing a few of them. There is a whole lot, but we just have a couple listed here. So of course this is the Linsner cover, and then we have the Lachi variant.
And again, now you could go to infinityflux.net and see all the
See all of them.
covers.
If there's your
Yes.
favorite one we didn't show, but you still want, you can order it.
So happy to be able to do that. Okay, so next up, it is Frank Miller Presents Ancient Enemies, The Jinn. Yes, a lot of words to that title. This is the newest one from Frank Miller's new comic book company. And so, who is the Jin? Well, he is half alien and he's half human. He is born out of the wreckage of an alien spaceship. But what does he want from this planet? What is his mission? You'll have to read it to find out. This is written by Kevin Van Hook with Dan DiDio. So who used to be such a big name over at DC
Yep.
a few years back. And the art is done by Jose Luis with Jonas Trindade. So that's what's going on with Frank Miller Presents Ancient Enemies, the Jin. This is the A cover by Dan Mora. And then we have this Dave Johnson variant for that as well. So again, 3-issue series. Okay, now we're going to get to cool covers and other comics. This is going to be variant covers that we thought were so awesome. We wanted to show them off on the show. And as far as other comics, issue number 2s and 3s in new series, where maybe you read the number 1, and now it's time to subscribe to that series in time to guarantee that you don't miss any
Yep.
issues.
Starting with World's Finest, number 12. I'm excited about this one when it was teased at the end of the last issue. This is supposed to be the secret behind Supergirl and Robin's feud that they've been having. Because it actually looks like they go on a date together and it goes so horribly wrong. They say this is the example of how not to have a team up. It starts out as a pretty innocent date and turns into mega destruction and action and everything. So I've really been enjoying World's Finest. It's one of my favorite books coming out right now. I believe Emanuela Lupacchio does the art for this issue, so that is going to be great. This is our A cover for that, and we have the Dave Johnson variant.
So look how the top was Superman's color, and then but where Batman is, the light flees.
Yeah,
It's only shadows and darkness and black, whites, and grays for Batman. Okay, so next up, this is our main cover for Catwoman number 52. This is continuing on the plot line where Selena Kyle is in prison. She's kind of rising up through the ranks. I'm a sucker for those stories. Like, whenever a superhero goes to prison, you
yeah.
know, um, they always kind of do that, but I like those. Meanwhile, the secondary story is, of course, Eco has taken over as the Catwoman who is on the outside.
I believe
So,
this is her on the cover too.
yep, for sure.
Great David Nakayama cover. And that top, the Dawn of the DC, it's kind of you're seeing they're doing like a little symbol in the corner. You're kind of seeing the new format of what DC comics are going to look like.
Yep. And so we have this Joshua Sway variant. You see the lipstick on Batman?
Yeah.
He probably
Post
liked
to
the he
smooch.
probably liked the kiss, but he probably is like, oh, I got to get the bat wipe out.
Imagine if Joker saw this.
Correct.
I'd never live it down.
Yeah. And then here is the Sweeney Boo variant. His legs go on for a while. I like it though.
Okay, next up, this is pretty cool. This is a homage variant for DC's War of the Undead Gods number 6 by Spokes. Do you know what that is an homage to?
NWA.
Yep. But this time it's straight out of Gotham.
I see that.
So people love these homage covers. I love how like the DC logo in the corner looks like an old sticker. You've got that advisory thing right there. So I think this is going to be a pretty hot cover.
And if you haven't heard the album that this is based on, look at the album. I'm sure you've heard things from it.
Yeah. And then this is kind of a last minute addition, but I thought this cover was so good. This is Stargirl number 4. This is the Sinapo variant. Just so much cool things with the title being made out of the stars and very cool.
So is this one DC just like emailed us lately?
Yeah, it wasn't up there at the beginning of the day. It was like towards the end of me putting the show together it appeared.
Andy is checking for covers right up until we
Yeah.
start this show. Okay, so next up we have this is the David Nakayama variant for Human Target number 12. It is the final issue of the series. So whether you've been reading the entire series or not, you may just want this awesome Nakayama variant for it.
I love this. He does these with a lot of books, but this like one key color kind of knocks out the other colors. Very cool. Next up is Ghost Rider number 12. This is a big one for all the Dan Ketch fans out there. It's teased the end of the last issue that he is back. Maybe with some upgrades, we're going to have to see. But in this one, he's back and he is going to come to blows with Johnny Blaze. Why? Don't know, but feel like, there can only be one Ghost Rider in this town. He doesn't like to share the road with another one. So this is our A cover for that. And then we also have this really nice Raposa variant.
I would run screaming from that if I saw it.
It's so
I'm
scary.
really happy Danny Ketch is coming back. Okay, so this is the variant. This is the, or no, this is the regular
It's a
cover.
regular
I'm sorry,
cover.
this is the A cover for Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 10. And then this cap is going up against this new MODOK who he has discovered, where it doesn't end with a K, it ends with a C. It ends with Control. So new MODOK versus Cap in Sentinel of Liberty number 10.
And I also think it's interesting. So we know, and we've seen a couple of screenshots of MODOK from the new Ant-Man movie, and he sort of looks more like this. So you know when they, it's kind of the Nick Fury situation. How do we get them closer together? Maybe introduce this new MODOK that's a little bit more techy looking. I think that's a kind of an interesting move.
That is a very interesting theory I hadn't considered.
Yeah. Next up, we've got, I mean, do you need me to even tell you? But this is Star Wars number 32. Of course, it's the John Tyler Christopher variant. For all of those Jar Jar Binks fans out there, this is going to be a cool issue. So, because of what Crimson Dawn has been doing, trying to take down the Sith, they've done something so big that it's actually kind of corrupted or broken the Force, and Luke is feeling it. We're gonna have to see how he repairs that. But sounds like a cool story. We've got a bunch of Star Wars books this week, so this is our first. We also have this really nice Peach Momoko Women's History Month variant with Holdo. And we have the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary cover. And then we also have Han Solo and Chewbacca number 10. This is a big one because this is it says basically the lead in to the big Star Wars event of the year. And we've kind of seen that with the previous issues with that new droid, that like rebellious droid,
Right, the
Ajax.
rebellion.
So that's going to be super cool, and it all starts here. This is the variant cover, the Cummings variant. And we also have the Momoko Women's History Month variant here with Kel Tana. Then we have Hidden Empire number 4, and this is going to have what everybody's been waiting for, Fermata Cage that has been holding some ancient Sith in stasis is finally going to be opened and revealed. We don't know who it is yet. We've all got theories, but that is going to happen in this issue number 4. This is the A cover. We also have the connecting variant. We have the what feels like the window blinds variant, but this is the Shalvey battle variant. We have the Peach Momoko Women's History Month variant with
Man, watch where you sit on that
ooh,
planet or asteroid or wherever you're at.
yep. And then we have Star Wars The Blade number 3 of 4. This has been a really great series. This is our A cover for that.
And so many first appearances. Like, who knows if any of them will go anywhere, but that issue too had like,
It was a whole
I
list.
know.
And we have the variant for it. This is the Gia Giordano variant. And lastly, we have Mandalorian number 8. This is the final issue. This is a very cool cover because that's actually when Mando Din Djarin was rescued by the Night Watch. Um, so that's him as a little baby. We also have a variant.
I don't know where that variant
I
went.
don't know where the variant went, but it may pop up somewhere.
It may. It was a very last minute addition, and we thought it was in the slides in the correct position, but we may hit it here in a moment. Okay, so what this is in the meantime, this is the Panosian variant to Venom number 17. So in this is post Dark Web. You know, Dark Web's over with. Eddie is still fighting with Bedlam, which is very weird because, of course, Bedlam is who he is going to become someday.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's going on. So Panosian variant.
And then we have Spider-Man. This is the adjectiveless Spider-Man number 6. This is the Gomez variant. And this is following up with that new Peter Palmer character that was introduced in the previous issues.
Okay, so this is the A cover to The Last Run in the Lost Years number 2. Number 1 came out last week to quite a bit of acclaim.
Yes.
Because those little baby turtles that we saw at the end of Last Run, and well, they had grown up. They are kind of the new teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like very early teenage though. If they're teens, they're like 13,
Yeah.
and they're being trained by Casey Marie Jones, Casey Jones' daughter, and that's going to continue in this. That wasn't just a little one shot of
Cool.
the future. They're continuing that story in this one, but the bulk of it, like last one, is going to be about Michelangelo. It's the time before Last Ronin. Michelangelo is trying to learn skills all over the world by fighting people that he can take to fight the Foot Clan eventually, which he does in Last Ronin.
Yeah.
So anyhow, there are two more covers to this that they didn't have ready in time, but we know there's so many fans out there of this series. We just want you to know, if you want them, you're gonna have to order them sight unseen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. One of them's an Eastman too, like he always does. So I think a lot of people want that one. The next up, we have Spawn Unwanted Violence #2. It says mini series finale. It's about as many of a mini series as you can get. I think one issue is a one shot, two is as small as a mini series gets. So this one was really interesting by Todd McFarlane and Mike Del Mundo. So if you enjoyed that, this is the second issue. This is the Del Mundo A cover. Like the last one, the variant is the Virgin version of it. And then we also have a second printing of that first issue if you missed that.
that is a tattered cape.
That is, yeah, he needs to see a tailor.
All right, so this is the main cover to Black Cloak #2. This, of course, is the new indie series by Kelly Thompson with art by Meredith McLaren. And this is set in that very interesting fantasy land.
Hmm.
The action mostly takes place on land, but there are like mermaids that are a part of this world too. And apparently, the mermaids are going to have more to do with this second issue. First issue, this prince was murdered, and the Black Cloaks, they're sort of the police organization where one is getting embroiled in the whole thing. So this is the main cover by our interior artist McLaren. Here is the fish variant. Here is the Winstead variant. Here is the other McLaren cover, the McLaren variant. And then #1 is going back to a second print. So if you missed #1, there will be the second print available.
And then, which is funny, this is Saga #62. Actually, I had someone come in today, and they had a Saga #61 in their box, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know it started back yet." So yes, Saga is back after its little break for its new story arc. So don't miss out on getting this one. Very cool. And of course, like Saga, always one cover. And then we also have the Spawn Scorched #15 variant by Keen with Hunk on the cover.
All right, so this is the main cover to Inferno Girl Red #2, the new three-issue mini series set in the massive verse
Mhm.
that is the Infinite Black Universe. That's what they call it. So this is the main cover. Here is the Durso and Monty variant. When you get Monty involved, your cover always looks a little Power Rangers.
Yes.
And then here is the artist's last name is Lobo. I don't think it's the character.
I don't
This
think.
is the Lobo variant for that.
Okay, and then I mean, without even knowing what title this is, you know what this is. This is the B cover for Ice Cream Man #34. This is by Heidensdorf. Just very
So
disturbing.
unsettling,
Yeah, unsettling.
makes you want to spit up your ice cream. Okay, so this is the Eastman and Williams variant for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2, #3. What a cool cover. Just the Green
Yeah,
Ranger and Raphael put together there. Here is the Sanchez variant for
I
that.
love this one because I can just feel myself playing that arcade version. So cool.
And then this is called the FOC reveal variant. We've seen these enough
Mhm.
where they're holding it, but the hands look a little different. I don't know what's going on there.
Less fingers.
And of course, in this issue, you got Shredder is actually going to go up against Ranger X in this issue.
Okay, and tucker in because we have Gargoyles #3. So in the last issue that just came out, there's been a kidnapping of a newly born member of the Gargoyles family. And some people are blaming Xanatos, but some of the Gargoyles actually think that he's on their side. So who actually did it, we'll have to find out. But like always, there is a bunch of covers for this. This is our A cover. We've got our Amanda Connor variant. It's very cool, very Batman.
Yeah. I think about the X-Men homage
Oh
also.
yeah,
There's not all the wanted behind
yeah.
the wanted posters.
We have the Perio variant. We have the Lyrics variant. We have the Jay Lee variant. We have the Fleeks variant. They said, nope, you're still going to have dogs on it. And this is a really cool, this is FOC Ken Hacer original variant.
All right. Also from Dynamite, Darkwing Duck #2 is available to order. This also has a David Nakayama main cover where Darkwing is drowning in a pit of rubber duckies. How fitting. So in this, the Darkwing Duck villain Quackerjack is back. If you have watched any Darkwing Duck, you probably have seen
Mhm.
Quackerjack on many, many episodes of that. So here's a bunch of variants you can choose from as well. Here's the Andolfo variant. Here is the Lyrics variant. I counted, and I think there's only 3 or 4 of the same artist because Lyrics
Mm,
did one for
yeah.
Gargoyles. Nakayama did both the A covers. Here's the Edgar variant with my man Launchpad. Here is the Forstner variant. He co-did the ones with Fleeks
Mm.
on the Gargoyles one. Here's the Combitus variant, the Stags variant, and lastly, the Hazer variant. And I believe Hazer, he did the FOC one for Gargoyles.
And that's also very Batman.
Yes.
I want to see a Perio launch pad that just looks like a real duck wearing this clothes.
All right, now our last segment, comic printings and graphic novels.
Starting with Invincible Iron Man #2 second printing. I think this is funny because when you originally talked about this, the Iron Man and Ironheart are fighting
Yeah,
just
it
epically on the
promises a
cover,
fight.
and
It
you're like,
does
that
not
didn't
happen.
happen. It's almost like here's our corrected cover where they don't actually fight; they're actually
Yeah,
partners.
good issue. I don't know why that cover was so inaccurate.
But it was a great cover. I believe it sold out, so if you missed it, you can pick up the second printing.
Okay, so guess what? They're doing a reprint of Wiz Comics #2. So #1 had your first appearance of Captain Marvel, who of course we now call Shazam. This is the second appearance of him.
Mm.
So Wiz Comics #2, this reprint. I doubt many of you have this sitting back in the collection. Maybe you've always wanted to read it and not some like tattered copy or some poor scan from online.
Yeah.
Here's your chance to get it.
If you have this, let's talk because I've never seen
Please.
this in person.
Yep, call us after the show.
Then we have our first collection of Predator. This is Predator Volume 1, Day of the Hunter, collecting the first, I believe, 6 issues, 5 or 6 issues for 19.99.
Predators and their skulls.
Love them.
Yep, they're just big Macbeth
That's
fans.
their Funko Pops for Predators.
The different skulls.
The different skulls, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Superman Son of Kal-El, Volume 1. Surely this came out before. I think
There's
it's
a
only
hardcover.
it's just a hardcover. So this is a softcover version of it. This collects, of course, issue 1 through 6 of the series that just ended a little bit ago by Tom Taylor and John Timms, and it's just going to be 16.99 if you didn't get that hardcover. All right, and that is it. Thank you for watching our show. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the screen says, like us and subscribe. That way you'll catch all our shows. We'll be back on Monday where we review the comics that have just arrived. And these are comics that don't come out till Tuesday or Wednesday, and we will tell you what they're about. We'll tell you what major first appearances are in them, but we won't ruin the read. We only
Right.
tell you so much. So that's a very popular show we do. So like and subscribe to catch that. And again, if you need a place to order from, go to our website. I'm just going to pull that up again, infinityflux.net. You can order any of the things that we just talked about today, and you're guaranteed to get them because you're ordering them before we placed our order on Sunday.
Very easy to set up your own pull box. So no reason if you don't have a local store, we can be your local store.
Yep. So thank you very much, and we will see you next time.